China is a country on the move. It has the world's second-largest economy and a growing influence on the world stage. From trade to technology to diplomacy, China is making its presence felt. Its actions have a ripple effect, impacting countries near and far. Understanding China's role in the world is crucial for navigating the complexities of global affairs. China's rise has been accompanied by both opportunities and challenges. It has lifted millions out of poverty and become a major engine of global economic growth. However, its growing military power and assertive foreign policy have also raised concerns among some of its neighbors, and in the West. China's relationships with other countries are multifaceted and constantly evolving. Some partnerships are rooted in history and geography, while others are driven by economic interests or shared global challenges. This essay will delve into some of China's most significant bilateral relationships, examining the dynamics at play and their implications for the future. China and North Korea share a unique and complex relationship. As neighbors with a shared history dating back centuries, the two countries are bound by a formal alliance treaty and deep economic ties. North Korea relies heavily on China for trade and aid, making it an essential lifeline for the isolated nation. This relationship, however, is not without its challenges. North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons and its unpredictable behavior have strained ties with China. While China has consistently called for denuclearization of the Korean peninsula, it has also been reluctant to take actions that could destabilize its neighbor or lead to regime collapse. China's approach to North Korea is often described as walking a tightrope. On one hand, it seeks to maintain stability on its border and prevent a refugee crisis that could result from a collapse of the North Korean government. On the other hand, China also has a vested interest in curbing North Korea's nuclear ambitions, which threaten regional security and could spark a wider conflict. The issue of North Korea's nuclear program has been a persistent source of tension in the region and beyond. China has participated in international efforts to persuade North Korea to abandon its nuclear weapons development, including through United Nations sanctions. However, China has also resisted imposing harsher sanctions that could cripple the North Korean economy and potentially lead to instability. This balancing act reflects China's complex calculations regarding its own security interests and its long-term goal of a denuclearized Korean peninsula. China's position on North Korea is often misunderstood. It is sometimes accused of not doing enough to rein in its neighbor. However, China argues that it has limited leverage over North Korea, and that dialogue and diplomacy are the only viable paths to a peaceful resolution. Beyond its immediate neighborhood, China's growing global footprint is evident in its approach to fishing. As the world's largest consumer of seafood, China has a vested interest in ensuring the sustainability of global fish stocks. Recognizing the need for responsible fishing practices, China has embarked on a significant overhaul of its fisheries law. The revised law, which underwent extensive public consultation, aims to strike a balance between protecting marine ecosystems and supporting the livelihoods of millions of Chinese citizens who depend on fishing. It introduces stricter regulations on fishing quotas, combats illegal fishing, and promotes sustainable aquaculture practices. The new law reflects China's growing awareness of its role as a global stakeholder in ocean governance. It also acknowledges the importance of international cooperation in addressing shared challenges such as overfishing, pollution, and climate change. China's efforts to promote sustainable fishing practices extend beyond its own borders. It has been actively involved in international forums and agreements aimed at conserving marine resources and combating illegal fishing. The country has also increased its investments in aquaculture, which is seen as a key strategy for meeting the growing global demand for seafood without depleting wild fish stocks. China's commitment to sustainable fishing aligns with its broader goals of environmental protection and food security. By taking a more responsible approach to fishing, China aims to ensure that future generations can continue to benefit from the ocean's bounty. China's engagement with Africa is another example of its expanding global influence. Over the past 2 decades, China has become Africa's largest trading partner, investing heavily in infrastructure, energy, and other sectors. This burgeoning partnership has brought significant benefits to both sides, but it has also been met with some skepticism and criticism. China's investments in Africa have been instrumental in building roads, railways, ports, and other infrastructure that are essential for economic development. These projects have created jobs, improved connectivity, and facilitated trade. China has also become a major source of financing for African countries, providing loans and grants for development projects. This partnership, however, has also been criticized for its lack of transparency, its potential to create debt traps for African countries, and its focus on extractive industries. Some observers argue that China's investments in Africa primarily serve its own economic interests and do not necessarily benefit ordinary Africans. Despite these criticisms, China's engagement with Africa continues to deepen. China has pledged to promote sustainable development in Africa, focusing on areas such as green energy, technology transfer, and poverty reduction. It has also established the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation as a platform for dialogue and cooperation on issues of mutual interest. China's growing presence in Africa is reshaping the continent's economic and geopolitical landscape. It remains to be seen how this partnership will evolve in the years to come, but it is clear that China will continue to play a significant role in Africa's future. China's rise as a global power presents both opportunities and challenges for the world. On the one hand, China's economic growth has lifted millions out of poverty and created new markets for goods and services. Its technological advancements have the potential to address global challenges such as climate change and disease, and its diplomatic engagement offers a different perspective on global governance. On the other hand, China's growing military power, its assertive foreign policy, and its human rights record have raised concerns among some countries. Its economic practices are sometimes seen as unfair or predatory, and its political system, which emphasizes state control, stands in contrast to the democratic values of many Western nations. Navigating these complexities requires a nuanced understanding of China's motivations, its interests, and its values. It also requires open communication, mutual respect, and a willingness to find common ground. As China continues to rise, the world is grappling with how to accommodate its growing power and influence. Some countries view China as a partner, while others see it as a rival. Some welcome its investments, while others fear its economic dominance. And some admire its technological prowess, while others worry about its potential for surveillance and control. Finding the right balance in engaging with China will be one of the defining challenges of the 21st century. It will require careful diplomacy, strategic thinking, and a willingness to work together to address shared challenges. The future of the international order may well depend on it.